Hi, this is Pete Lyons with Let's Play Salesforce, and today we're doing part 3 of Einstein Analytics Spring 18 Sneak Peek, the conclusion. So for the last couple days, we've had access to the preview version of the release notes, and while that does mean that things are subject to change, as this is still a preview version, I can assure you that one thing that's probably not going to change, they're not going to swap out the watering can for pruning shears, although from this angle, it kind of looks like he's about to take the head right off that bonsai. So we're going to use the release notes as our guide to cover some of the features that we have not covered yet. There are definitely a few that are not completely live yet, so we're not going to be able to reproduce them, but we're still going to try to cover them in the best detail that we can. So I've never actually done any coverage on reports and dashboards before, and that's, it's not because I'm some go surfing or go home kind of elitist. It's really just not my domain. But I do actually think that this is the single most empowering tool for end users. You don't need any technical expertise. You don't need any Salesforce experience. If you have a basic understanding of the nature of your business and what data represents, this tool can give you insights in minutes. We saw a really cool update to it last release, the Lightning Experience Report Builder, which is a really crucial piece of trying to bring that parity between Classic and Lightning. And this is definitely a great step in the right direction. And it was released in beta, so I felt that anything that it was really lacking is still kind of reasonable. They needed to get it out there and try it out. And now we're starting to see some of those crucial gaps getting filled in. So we have buckets, we have cross filter, and we have summary formulas. And those for me were the three main ones, the summary formulas especially, that were holding this back from being ready for prime time. So even though it's still in beta, I am going to start sharing this with my end users, and I am going to start showing it to brand new Salesforce users as the de facto go-to default solution for how to build your reports. This is awesome. So thank you to the team that put this together. So while we're here, let's take a quick look at this screenshot of the new color options that we have in the Lightning Dashboard Editor. And while it is really starting to look like Einstein Analytics, don't let that fool you. These are two completely different tools. And if you want to see those differences, spend a little while playing around in Wave and then hop back into the standard dashboard editor and try adding a filter. Yeah. And then if you want to look at that in the other direction, all I want for Christmas is conditionally highlighted tables. Conditionally highlighted tables. Where are my conditionally highlighted tables? So the first Einstein Analytics spoiler that we're going to be covering tonight is the new help and training functionality. And this is extremely close to my heart. I'm going to give you a little backstory as to why. So Dreamforce 2014, Einstein Analytics was released under the moniker of Wave. And at that time, I was a baker. I had never heard of Salesforce. I fixed computers in my spare time to try and level up and learn something and maybe make something of myself. And I never envisioned that within a year, this is what I was going to be doing. And when that year had passed and I found myself, in the close of 2015, I really was frustrated with the inaccessibility of the documentation and how hard it actually was to learn this tool. And if it wasn't for the Brown Belt videos by Anil Dindigul and Andrew Price's blog, andrewprice.me, you wouldn't even be watching these videos because I would have given up. So where we really started around that curve was with the Sackwell Bindings Guide, which is 74 pages of pure awesome that is also at a very high technical level. So you got to be very familiar with the tool in order to be able to actually benefit from this document. And over time, we got to see better trailheads and a lot of things that really opened it up to a broader audience. And where I think we can really now say that this is a robustly documented and self-teachable tool was on October 31st with the release of the Einstein Analytics Learning Adventure. And this tool is now, in my opinion, accessible to all skill levels, be it somebody who's never even touched a computer before, all the way up to somebody as skilled as, say, Carl Brundage. But let's talk about this help and training feature. Now, it is being rolled out gradually. So far, all I have is the menu itself, which I only got this morning. None of these links actually work yet, but rest assured, I have it on good sources that features are going to be released a little bit at a time, and we will get all of the awesome that is promised in the release notes, but I'm going to just have to show you from here. So one really cool thing that I saw was this Einstein Explorer feature, which is basically going to give us like hover for tutorials that tell you what the different buttons and the different stuff that you can do within the UI is. And so that's really, really cool to see. And the Einstein Analytics Learning Adventure app also got a new update recently. From a high level, there's not really any functional changes, but just a lot of cleanup and polish, correcting the one minor blemish that I was able to find in my review. So again, make sure to check out my review video of that where I talk about what this thing does, or spend the exact same amount of time actually installing it, because it's really that easy. You just drop it into any dev org and it works. And I have it on good authority that we are going to be seeing a lot of additional functionality coming to this in the future, and I will not talk about that at this time. So a nice underspoken update that we saw was the addition of two new visualization types, the time bar and the time combo. And while it doesn't look like these are any different than normal bar charts and combo charts, in the original version, instead of seeing like September right here, you would just see 2017-09. And typically there would be some dots involved with that. So it is nice that we have this this cleaned up look here. So is it a fundamentally new visualization type? Well, not really, but is it a nice enhancement? Oh, absolutely, definitely. This has been an ask that I've actually had on the job, so I'm really glad to see it. I'm seeing a very nifty little update to the way that line charts are handling gaps in the data now. Here's your use case. I've got a couple of records in January, nothing in, February, March, April, maybe one or two in May, June, July. Nothing in August, bunch of records in September, a little bit in October, November, end of year, we're done. Now, this is kind of an edge case. Like, you took a robust data pool and you filtered it down a whole bunch, or maybe you just didn't have a lot of data in the system to begin with. Usually if you're putting a line chart on a screen to begin with, I would expect that it's because you have data that you want to see. But the fact that they have added this feature is really a sign of something much bigger. It means that the tool has really come into its own, because you don't work on edge cases with a tool that is not robust. If you are bleeding out in your core functionality, you're not going to work on something like this. But Einstein Analytics has really evolved extremely quickly, and so the fact that we're seeing this new feature is a sign that the tool has really come into its own. And besides that, it's actually a pretty cool feature, because when you do apply those, million filters, or you've only got like 5 records because you're trying to demo something, being able to have a line chart that still actually like doesn't look like garbage is really, really nice. So the best Spring 18, you asked for it, you got it, has got to be the ability to share links to a dashboard via Chatter and preserve filters that were applied. The use case for this is that you have a dashboard, you go and look at it, you apply a bunch of filters, and you say, oh, there's the actionable insight. There's a thing that I see right here that I can actually do something about and improve my business. And you want to share that with your larger team. Well, previously, you could you could give them a link to the dashboard, but you would have to tell them what filters you had applied to achieve that. And now we have this handy dandy link that we can share. We can see that this is leveraging the saved views functionality that I covered in video number 1, and that the object prefix of those saved views is going to be 8 lowercase w lowercase k. So we're getting this pretty big long link with a bunch of what looks like base 62 in it. So my guess is we probably can't do too much with URL hacks to try and modify that. But just having that ability to share that filtered view is extremely useful. And this has been a highly requested feature. I'm very glad to see that it was added. We got some cool updates to the REST API. A lot of them are interacting with views in different ways, so some cool stuff that we can do there. One thing that I've really wanted to see, and I'm very glad that they've added it, is the ability to call a data flow from the API. And we've also got some enhanced SACL documentation, which is not live yet. So I can't really tell you anything about what's there, but we know that there is going to be another booster shot to the docs themselves. It was not that many releases ago that it was very difficult to answer the question, where's the data, Lebowski? Because to bring data from external sources into Einstein Analytics, you would have to either get a pricey middleware, invest in extensive development that would need to be maintained over time, or use a middle ground like Dataset Utils, which I have used a number of times. It's a great tool, but it does break down from time to time. and it is not officially supported. So we've seen for the last few releases, we're getting a lot of really awesome connectors so that we can more easily bring data from external sources in a sustainable, reliable, and easy to spin up kind of fashion. And this release is no exception to that. We're getting a lot of love on the SQL side this time around. So we've got Azure SQL database, we've got Microsoft, we've got MySQL, all this stuff. It's really good to see this growth and expansion for both on-prem and cloud-based SQL sources. I think we can now safely say that the argument that it is unreasonably difficult to get data from external sources into Einstein Analytics as compared to using a different tool is now officially untrue. So the last update that we're going to be covering tonight has to do with dataset fields. The button has been moved over to here now, and we now have the ability to add derived dimensions and derived measures. So for all of you out there that are creating compare tables with additional columns or using simple SACWL to create bucketed fields on the fly on dashboards, you're now going to be able to control the name, label, formatting, etc. of those fields. Custom color as well will be available for dimensions. Really great feature to see come to the UI, previously only available through direct code editing of the XMD or through Wave Labs. So with this, I conclude my coverage of the Spring 18 release for Einstein Analytics. If you'd like to see videos on Einstein data discovery, please let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like and or subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. All I want for Christmas is conditionally highlighted tables. Conditionally highlighted tables. Where are my conditionally highlighted tables? I mean, really? You gave it to the Lightning Dashboard Editor. Can we please have this feature?